Cade Cunningham is out for the rest of the regular season with a shin injury. Where does that leave the Detroit Pistons, though? How optimistic are you for their long-term success? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And shout out to our new subscribers, most notably Wolf of Oaktown, Brooklyn Kid, Rich Harvey, just to name a few. Shout out to you guys. But, Matt, let's get into this topic today, man. How are you feeling? How optimistic, I should say, are you feeling about the Detroit Pistons' long-term future and success here with Cade Cunningham off the shelf for the rest of the season?
I mean, I'll say this. I think the youth alone gives a lot of people that hope because this is a young team. I mean, Cade is super young.
Right.
The issue for me is I just think it continues to prolong. That long term becomes even longer because you just keep pushing stuff down the road. And yes, this youth is great, but youth is that excitement of like it could turn into something or it couldn't. We've seen what, the trust the process did with Philly as far as a team that was, continuously on the lower end, brought in a lot of young talent, and it hit on one guy specifically. Simmons was solid for a while, but it hasn't led to an NBA title or anything of that matter. So obviously youth is going to give you hope, but it just prolongs the injury prolongs the long term, and they'll be able to add more talent through the draft more than likely, but you still have to see whether that actually is going to pan out. And I'm not probably as hopeful as a lot of Detroit fans are.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for Cade because, as you know, he's one of my favorite young players in the league. I think he's going to be a future.
It sucks for NBA fans. You love to watch those guys.
Yeah, not that Detroit and sitting in last place is giving, fans a lot to watch this season so far. But nonetheless, I mean, again, Cade is one of the young stars in the NBA, and I hope he has a speedy recovery. But, I mean, honestly, aside from, Cade missing out on, his second NBA season, this isn't the worst case scenario, I suppose, for the Detroit Pistons, or at least I should say there are some silver linings. Most notably, I think it's going to give the opportunity for, as you mentioned, this really young squad to get more minutes and not playing with Cade Cunningham. Because as we know, Cade Cunningham's play style is he has the ball in his hands 95% of the time. But if these young guys, Jaden Ivey, for example, who they just drafted, who is going to be playing probably more on the ball now, Sadiq Bey as well, they have some young guys who are probably going to benefit with, getting more play time, more time with the ball in their hands with Cade out of the lineup. And also, too, I mean, this is probably maybe going to happen with Cade in the lineup or not, but the Detroit Pistons are going to be near the top of the NBA draft lottery once again next season. No doubt. Obviously, Cade being out of the lineup is only going to help that regard. There is a Victor Wembanyama supposed to be drafted in the 2023 NBA draft. If the Pistons were to somehow win the lottery and, pair Cade with Wembanyama and
their work
Ivy.
Put out for him with OKC, really throwing everything into it. I mean, that's going to be a battle.
Yes, this could set up one of the most epic tank battles in sports history, perhaps.
No doubt.
For Victor Wembanyama. And obviously, it looks like the Detroit Pistons are going to be in the middle of that as well. But again, I mean, could you imagine, Wembanyama with Cade and obviously Ivy in Detroit for the foreseeable future? I mean, that would be the best case scenario for them.
It is exciting, but I think it definitely affects what Detroit was doing, because I would even argue that if you looked at what they did in the offseason, bringing in guys like, Bojan and even, having Nerlens
really well.
Yeah, exactly.
Bojan's playing
but
really
now
well.
those guys go on the trade block instantly. And so it prolongs a team that looked like they were trying to maybe be like a Charlotte Hornets a few years ago where, you're young, but we could get into the playing game. And then, you just throw the youth at whoever it is. And maybe you get into the first round, maybe you don't. It just prolongs that again. And you're consistently, setting yourself up to be more towards the lower end because you're always trying to get these young guys to figure out what it's like to be in the NBA. They haven't found that veteran that you need to take the team to the next level and kind of show the young guys what to do. I like Dwayne Casey as a coach. I'm just not sold on it. And the more that you prolong this whole, I guess you could call it the Detroit version of trust the process and this rebuild, it makes it harder and harder to believe that they're actually going to take that step and get out of the bottom of the barrel.
I mean, you're absolutely right. It makes you think, too, guy you just mentioned, Bojan, I mean, again, he's having a great season. He's leading this team in scoring. You have to think with Cade now on the shelf that he's probably going to be trade bait for a team who's, looking to improve. The Dallas Mavericks, for example, who are looking for another scorer. The Los Angeles Lakers, if they maybe think that they can make a playoff push. So that's going to be something to watch. But let us know in the comments, how optimistic are you about the Detroit Pistons process with Cade Cunningham now out for the season? Let us know in the comments. But we'll catch you on another episode.
How often can you actually say this, Detroit? Be happy, excited about the Lions.
Shout out the Lions, man.
Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out our other videos and don't forget to smack that subscribe button down below while you're at it. Also, for more great and original content, head right over to bvmsports.com.